So recently, I've been watching the DCAU movies, or also known as DC Animated Universe movies. And I gotta say, I've actually been loving them. You see, I grew up with 4 shows. These 4 shows are the reason why I love DC heroes with passion. And these shows are Batman Animated Series, the Superman Animated Series, the Justice League Animated Series, and the Justice League Unlimited. These 4 shows forever changed the way I watch superhero shows, and since this is what I grew up with, this is how I have perceived these characters and how they're supposed to be. But I discovered that there were movies of these characters as well, and amazing new movies with new artwork, which I was skeptical about at first because I loved the original feel of the artwork, and also an interesting plot structure that's explored amazing comic book stories. So yeah, I got hooked on pretty easily. The first ever DCAU movie I watched was Flashpoint, and it was over 5 years ago. I remember watching this movie and being very intrigued. I got to see an interesting version of events that I knew from the shows. What if Bruce died instead of his parents? What if Superman landed in Metropolis instead of on the outskirts? Or what if Cyborg was like a tool for the government? These questions were very fascinating to look at, and watching this film definitely satisfied me. But it wasn't until the last month or so that I began to watch these movies in greater detail and really go over them again. So, over the next few videos, you may see this series start of me talking about DCAU movies. And because I've been watching them again, I gotta say, they are awesome. So today, we're going to be looking at the most recent movie, or movies, that I've watched. And that's going to be with The Dark Knight Returns, Part 1 and Part 2. So I've got to say that this storyline was so entertaining to me. It was an immersive story that felt right. When I first heard about the plot though, I wasn't too sure about it. In case you haven't read the comic or seen the movie, I'll explain. The story revolves around a retired Bruce Wayne. He gave up a Batman 10 years ago, so this puts him at around the age of 55. Robin died a long time ago, and Superman is now a tool for the government. Over time, the crime in Gotham starts to get worse, and Bruce decides to put back the mantle of Batman. But as he fights crime again, he realizes that criminals are a lot more brutal than they used to be, and he has to go to more extreme lengths to stop them. This includes killing people. The government doesn't like this, and they send Superman to stop Bruce. This is the core inspiration of Batman v Superman. Now, the reason why I wasn't completely sold on this concept, well, it was because I had always been a fan of the Batman that had one rule: don't kill. Now, I know that some people like the Ben Affleck style Batman, where he murders people left and right, but I personally don't like this Batman at all. I like Ben Affleck. I think he plays a very good Batman, but I think his Batman was written very poorly. I'm a fan of the Christian Bale style or Batman animated series version of Batman, where he has one rule: don't kill. That was a big part of the Dark Knight Joker movie that Christopher Nolan directed. That, the Joker was trying to get him to break his one rule. And to me, this not only humanizes Batman, but it also gives him a goal that makes sense for his backstory. I mean, him not wanting to kill people makes sense since his parents were killed. He doesn't want to do that to someone. Now, I know that people would say that the only reason why Batman doesn't kill people anymore is so that they can bring the villains back repeatedly. But the truth is, that doesn't matter. This attribute is a core aspect of Batman I personally think shouldn't be removed unless it was under specific circumstances. And thankfully for this one, it has those circumstances. And one of the reasons why Batman has to be harsher is for 3 main reasons. Number 1, he's older than he used to be, so he isn't as, once you get older you start to just get tired of things, This Batman has that kind of mentality now. Number 2, the villains are harsher, causing him to be harsher. And number 3, Robin has died and he kind of blames himself for it, and he doesn't want this to happen again. So because Robin is dead, he feels that now he has to go past that point to keep his friends and his city alive. Now, these are 3 reasons that I think can justify the reasoning of breaking this rule. And if any one of these were broken, if any one of these didn't, these rules weren't applied, I would have serious doubts about this working for me. but since they all make sense for the story and what this Batman has gone through, I'm willing to accept it. Now, these are reasons I think don't apply to the Ben Affleck Batman, but I'll explain that in a separate video, I think. So like I said, I was skeptical of this story plot, but as the movie progressed, I began to enjoy it more and more, and since it was a split between two movies, it wasn't rushed. Everything felt natural, and as I watched it, it began to feel like the tension that Bruce was undertaking, and the movie does a surprisingly well job with making you sympathize with characters, not just Bruce, but also Jim Gordon and Alfred as well. You even feel sympathy for Superman because he doesn't think what he's doing is for the best completely. Superman does think helping the government is the best thing to do for the world, and Bruce doesn't. There's a scene in the movie where Superman and Batman are fighting, and it cuts to Alfred having to blow up the Wayne Manor to really sell this plot that Batman is trying to inject. He's trying to make it to fake his own death, and you can tell, and even just this animation, how hard it is for Alfred to do this. As the building blows up, Alfred cries out and has a heart attack and dies, and it's genuinely one of the saddest moments of the film. You're just watching this and you feel so sad because Alfred gave his life to Bruce and the Wayne family. To see that house burn as Alfred laid in the snow was pretty heart-wrenching, to be honest. The plot of the two movies moves at a well-paced time and is easy to watch. And I think one of my favorite plots of both movies was the Joker and how he played in this. Watching Batman finally go to the length and kill the Joker and how that affected him was a very interesting experience as a viewer. Plus, watching the Joker run around in a theme park with a batarang in his eye was pretty brutal as well. And again, this movie has so many little details that I enjoyed, and if I were to list all of them in this video, well, it would be hour long at least. So today, I'm just going to leave it at that. This movie is great. You should go see it. Alright, watch these movies, guys. I'll have another one on the next movie I watched, which was The Death of Superman. So, I guess I'll see you guys in the next video. Watch these movies, guys. They're really good. Bye!